Well, welcome into More Important Issues. This is a different episode. It's our brand new episode. We told you guys we had something exciting coming. We're going to have VFL Chris Weathered on for our newest show, Vol Tales. Lana's going to tell you guys a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we kind of got this idea from Billy Ratliff. He kind of put it in our mind. He told us a story about Al Wilson cussing out Peyton Manning. And, we love to hear stories like that. And I feel like all fans do. So that's why we wanted to start Vol Tales and just have Vols on here and let them have the floor and let them share their experience and different things like that. So I'm super excited to have all these VFLs on. I think y'all will enjoy it very much too.
Yeah, we talked about how we've been trying to bring you guys content with all this without all these sports. We've got some great VFLs that have volunteered their time to come and talk about their time before Tennessee, while they're here on campus, and after Tennessee. Like Landon said, you love these guys. Kind of become a part of your lives once you watch them every Saturday and you're invested even in the off season. So we appreciate Chris and every VFL that hops on throughout this newest show. So this is Vol Tales, guys, with Chris Weathered. Before we do that, please hit like, share, retweet, whatever you're on, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate what you all do. And Landon's going to tell you a little bit about our sponsors.
Yeah, so go check out our sponsors, Hound Dog, Bet Now, and Commercial Bank. Great sponsors. Love to have them be a part of the show. So go check them out.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys. This is our first episode of Vol Tales with Chris Weathered.
We welcome onto the show VFL Chris Weathered. Chris, how are you tonight? I like that power T on the chest.
Man, I tell you what, man, I had to go in my closet and find it because all my family members really took all my Tennessee gear and stuff. So I only got just 2 or 3 particles left around, but I'm doing good, man. Wife's making some spaghetti. I'm gonna eat all that stuff up. I'm got a dog here, and he's always trying to get our food and stuff. So just staying busy, pretty much.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for you guys who are just tuning in, this is Chris Weathered, former Tennessee Vol, played for the Vols in 2014, 2015. Was part of that big 2014 class.
Right.
32 enrollees.
That's right.
Got to be a record. I don't know if it is, but it's got to be.
It is.
So he's part of that class, number 42 in your programs. I'm sure a bunch of y'all remember him. So Chris, you just kind of tell us how did you become a Vol? You come from Trinity Valley Community College in Texas. So how did you become a Vol?
Man, it's a long story. Pretty much at a high school, I wasn't really highly touted, and my grades were bad. That's due to the lack of focus of myself. Then I kind of got it together and went to junior college. And I wasn't going to play football, to be honest with you. I was really done with football once I didn't really get to go to a Division I college after high school. But my mom kind of encouraged me to go. So after that, obviously I went there and I kind of got myself together, and football was obviously my outlet. So that's pretty much where I led to. And then one thing led to another. I was out in the middle of nowhere. Let me tell you, man, we took actual school buses to the high school, the local high school, and we played there every Saturday. So, it's just a humbling moment to actually get the opportunity to have options to go different places versus, kids that wish they could do that. So, anyway, I got a call from Coach Jones. He called me and it was just like, that's an 865 number. Never seen that number come across my phone before in my life.
Good area code.
All right, but here's the thing though. Before then, like my homeboys were getting like calls from colleges. So I'm like, dang, where's I thought mine was coming. I had a really good spring season. So after that, yeah, Coach Jones called me and said, hey, this is Coach Jones from the University of Tennessee. And at that moment, that was my first biggest offer that I had. And like my heart just dropped because I can't believe it. This is actually happening. And from then on, it was just more of like staying in touch with Coach Jones, staying in touch with Coach Jancic. Me and Coach Jancic actually have a really, really close relationship. He recruited me the most. Coach Jones actually never came to my house, but Coach Jancic always was there. He actually came to my bowl game in junior college. And it was ice and cold, man. I tell you what, and he was up in that press box, but he was there. So that kind of meant a lot to me too. But moving forward, Coach Jensen has really always been there for me. That's one of the reasons why I did choose Tennessee, because of Coach Jensen, along with Coach Jones and Coach Thigpen. But Coach Jensen's played a big role in my commitment, because just how genuine he was, how he cared for my family and things like that. I know a lot of, when you're recruiting, you go out all the bells and whistles. Everybody knows that. But it was just something different, it was just like genuine care, and not just sending out mass Twitter messages, saying, hey, we're thinking about you. Everybody got that. So it kind of got to a point to where that's where I knew where I wanted to go whenever I snuck out of my community college for a weekend to go up to Knoxville to watch some football. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So that pretty much kind of opens up the story about that.
Were you getting recruited out of high school for Division I SEC schools? Or?
Not, man. I tell you what, man. I would have like 12 sacks a game and like 20 tackles a game, things of that nature. But it's not like I was at a very prominent high school. We never made the playoffs. We were 2-8. So yeah. That being said, it's kind of a hit or miss. Not to change subject, but my cousin actually went to the same high school that I went to. His name is Jeremy Bill. He played for OU for a little bit with Sam Bradford, I think in 2005 to 2010 or whatever. And so that kind of was the reason why I thought I should have got, at least some offers from bigger schools than I did. But I wasn't really upset that I was getting recruited by. I was getting recruited by Arkansas, but they said my cousin used to tell me that I was just in the database, and they just send those newsletters to everybody. I got messages. I got mail from Ole Miss. I was getting mail from Ole Miss. All that stuff is still the same thing. So I guess back then, I was being recruited, but not really. But I took an official visit to University of New Mexico, and I actually really liked that because Coach Bob Davie, I guess I don't know what he was before he got back into coaching and whatnot. He was the head coach at that time, and he actually came to my house and sat with my mom and said, hey, we really need this kid. He needs to get his grades together. But here's the thing about my grades. So I'm a very intelligent human being, very intelligent. There was just a moment in my life where I went down. My dad had really just got out of our life and stuff. So it was just more than just me not wanting to do my work. It's just that, I had a lot going on at the time. But you can't really tell everybody that, because they say, there's a lot of people who have it worse than I do, which is true. But I feel like I have overcame that by, making it up and kind of getting to where I was at Tennessee. So, that being said, I just wanted to throw it out there for you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Any kind of experiences, we just love to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To start the show, we kind of mentioned how this got started. Billy Ratliff was on our show not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He told us a story about Al Wilson cussing out Peyton Manning as a freshman.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how this idea started of Ball Tales, and we just want to kind of give you the floor to share some of your experiences. We want to hear how you got to Tennessee, but we want to hear your experiences while you're there as well.
Most definitely. So I'll tell you what, man. The first night being at Tennessee, the first actual day that I got to Tennessee, I had called my mom, and I had practice and all that stuff. Practice was a shit show for me because I was out of shape. I had just got there, and I went on the field the next day. But I called mom and said, hey, Mom, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to leave. I don't want to be here. And then the first thing she said was, boy, what the hell are you talking about? you have everything right in front of you. But at the time, I was so close-knit with my mom because of things that were going on outside of football that I didn't want to – I felt like I needed to be there. And she's like, no, you're right where you need to be. So then when she said, where was I need to be, I just changed as a person. So, obviously the party and stuff like that, I never experienced that in my life until then. As far as football, I've seen a whole lot. So I'll tell you a funny story. So do you remember there was I guess it was my junior year, I had called into the Paul Finebaum show, okay? So called into the Paul Finebaum show because I lost the bet. And I was told that, I wasn't, I'm not going to chicken out. So I'm going to call Paul Finebaum show. Didn't think that I would ever get an answer. And so I'm not sitting on the phone before we go to practice. And so I'm sitting there, and then I mean, the only thing I can really talk about is, the team. I don't make it about myself to make it about anybody else except the team. So I really made it about Coach Jones. So I'm talking to Paul Finebaum, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Johnny, this got Chris Wood on the show from Knoxville." Like, everybody's just so funny. Everybody said that for like 2 weeks. Like, "Oh, it's Chris from Knoxville." So we had gotten to the locker room later that day, and Kurt Magid comes up to me and says, "Hey man, what are you doing?" So what do you mean what I'm doing? Like, everybody said it was a good thing. Like, oh my gosh, did you not see the review from that? Like, it wasn't like I was trying to get attention. It was more just like I lost a bit and I was in more work. Now, I didn't have to really go into detail what it was, but I mean, might as well at that point. So that being said, Kurt Magid comes to me and said, "Hey man," he said, "Yeah, so what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I don't think I did anything wrong." He said, "Man, you ain't even been here for, X, Y, and Z years. You have no right to be talking about the team." I said, "Man, I'm just as part of this thing," because I would always stand up to Kurt Magid because you got to think about it. We were pretty much the same age, I came in as a junior and he was a senior at the time, or a junior too, maybe. So that being said, like, you're my superior, which you're not, But me and Kurt kind of had an understanding. We actually were roommates before every game day, so that's how we kind of got close too. But that was a moment that we butted heads because he was the kind of a leader of the team, and one of his teammates did something that he wasn't necessarily not supposed to do, but was asked to do. So, and then I got another story. So we're practicing, man. And meanwhile, okay, I'll tell you this, just a little bit of background. So in high school, I played 3-4 defense. I always played 3-4 defense. I played, the curl flat, hook the curl, rush the passer on 3-by-1, all that stuff. So that's all I was used to. That's how I get all my sacks, all that stuff. Got to junior college, was turned into a 4-3. So I had to go to defensive end because I never played linebacker in my life. I had outside linebackers and outside linebacker, not in like a 4-2-5 or 4-3, 3-3-5 sub, whatever you want to say. So that being said, I'm already behind because I don't know any type of Sam, Mike, or Will. You know what I'm saying? All I know is, hey, curl flat, cover 4, rush the passer, and 3-by-1, just stuff like that. So that being said, Coach Jancic is being the hard ass at this point. He wants me to play Sam. Okay, so obviously Kurt Magid was a starting Sam. Okay, so he takes Kurt out, and he actually puts him at will, and then it's me, AJ, and Kurt. So we're sitting there, and I keep fucking up on the play. I just keep messing up. I don't know why I keep messing up, but I just keep messing up. And then AJ comes over and says, "Hey man, get your shit together." And so I understood. I understand that. That's fine. So then we did it again, and I messed up again. It's like I wasn't floating the hole right. It was just something I think Coach Jansen was really just trying to pick on me, but I was just not really filling it up right. So the next thing, Kurt comes back up to me. This is when me and Kurt were really butting heads. And he slapped me up against the helmet, saying, "Hey, man, get your shit together." I said, I paused practice, took my helmet off. I said, "Man, I ever hit I'm a grown-ass man. Like, why would you hit me in the back of my helmet like that? But it was more of a thing like that's when I had put it sounds sissy, but I had put my foot down really like, you guys aren't about to run over me just because I just transferred here or, things of that nature. So now that I say that, we're all really good friends, man. We got to really know each other. I learned a lot from him, learned a lot from AJ. Learned a lot about a lot of guys. And I have stories behind stories. I'll tell you another game, man. I think we were playing Kentucky, and at that point, actually no, it wasn't Kentucky. It was a 12 personnel team. I think it was either Georgia or it was Alabama. But we were going the night before, and we go over film. So sometimes I play defensive end. Sometimes I go into the 3-4 package that we had, which is called penny or whatever. So we go to the penny package. That's what I would spend most of my time doing. But when we go like 4-3, I'm the third down lineman. I'm the third defensive end. That being said, so LaTroy Lewis, he's questionable. Like he's like questionable if he's gonna play or not. He had hurt his leg, foot, or whatever. And so now I'm like, okay, this is a big game. This is a big game for me because I might go in. I'm sitting here trying to go. I might go in. So Derek Barnett, right? I'm behind Derek or whatever, and he's like, all right, yeah. So there's a technique from defensive end when the tackle goes down, you either spill or you fill the block or whatever. So I kept getting it confused because his hammer is when you put your left shoulder in, and when you spill it, you put your right shoulder in. So I'm like, why does it matter what shoulder you put in? That's what I'm saying. So I kept asking, forget the Coach Strip. Coach Strip, he was like, hey, I said, hey, Coach, I would pause the meeting and say, hey, Coach, so do we spill here or do we hammer here? So Derek turns around. He said, man, we effing went over this the whole time in practice, and we did this before we even got on the plane. You already don't know what it means. I said, man. Then again, I said, man, who you talking to? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they talking to me like I'm a little kid, So it's just like, why were they treating me this way? So that being said, that's how me and Derek got kind of close, because after that, he came up to me and said, hey, man, I'm just frustrated, man. You know what I'm saying? I want you, because we did go over it at meetings, but I was unaware that LaTroy was not playing. So that being said, I'm worried about my thing, my package and stuff like that, but I'm not really, because we had Corey Vereen, we had Barnett, we had LaTroy, we had Demario Mixon. I mean, we had a lot of defensive ends. So why would they, why am I so it's all good. So that's one of the funniest stories, because Derek is like, you would never really expect it from Derek. And all of a sudden he just snapped, But during meetings and stuff, defensive meetings, we always joke around, man. It's always fun in the locker room, things of that nature. So there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad that happen in the locker room. I guess now I can't really get in trouble for it.
I do want to mention real quick, because you started off with the Paul Finebaum show. And, we were doing some research, and, that's the third video that pops up.
Yeah.
Is Chris from Knoxville.
That's right.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because we're going to mention it. We're going to be like, what was that all about? But I'm glad you watched that. That's funny.
Right.
That's
most definitely. And I will tell you something else, man. I don't know if you guys know, but, it's not like I was kind of, mistreated. But, there's some things that, as far as sorry, I got a call coming in. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. Oh. All right. Am I back? Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just like the media. I never got the media that, that I thought I would, be getting, because there are some things that I know that are out of my control. There are people that are very more prominent on the team, things like this. I was never worried about being on camera and stuff like that. But when you purposely have me scheduled and then you don't schedule me anymore, and then you don't do that to anybody else, it kind of raises flags. That being said, I had to tell y'all something funny before I said that. So my wife had bought some Dos Equis to drink for beer for Memorial Day, okay? And so meanwhile, it was before that week. So I think that weekend before she had bought it, and I said I wasn't opening it until the week of. So I drank all the beer, right? Drank all the beer, sorry. And I went to the store, and tell me why, without noticing, I had bought a specific beer, but it was not Dos Equis. So the beer was Heineken, right?
Oh,
they got the worst brand. And so I really thought that I got some Dos Equis because they had the same color and whatnot.
Right.
So I was just kind of upset that I didn't buy the right one. So it was ever happened to one of you guys,
The good news is it's beer. That's
right. That's right. It'll be drank for sure.
Yeah, that's the good news.
I'm the only one that drinks it, so I'm the only one that's got to handle that. So
there you go. So I think now with the way I think a lot of people talk about, because Tennessee's had, compared to the 90s and early 2000s, the history of Tennessee football isn't the same. What did you know about Tennessee before Butch Jones called?
I knew Peyton Manning played at Tennessee. I think everybody does. And I kind of had a Tennessee jacket growing up, but I think it was a Texas jacket. And I think about it because it had a white tee on it, but the orange doesn't look like the orange that we have now. So I'm not really sure what kind of jacket it was, but not really that much. I didn't really look into Tennessee as being a football school. Obviously, I was born in 94, so I wasn't really watching college football that way. So 98 and those years, I really didn't know. But I really started watching football, like when I said with my cousin, he played at OU. I want to say in high school at that time. So I was a big OU fan. So I really wanted to go to OU. So I was being recruited by OU, all this stuff. And then, like, my coach back in junior college, he was like, hey, they're not – I mean, there's a whole backstory about, you know, why I chose Tennessee, because A&M came in last at the end of it. And then OU was there. And then my coach was like, oh, you don't have an offer from there, so you can't go. They know what I'm saying? Like, me being young, I was 17 when I graduated high school, 18 when I got, you know, the offer from Tennessee at that point. So I didn't really know who to believe or not what to believe, but I got my coach telling me one thing, right? But I'm getting letters, I'm getting all this stuff. So at that point, I think he wanted me to go to Tennessee. And at that point, I was like, you know, I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay. I don't want to go to Alabama because I probably won't play, or they'll probably sit me out for a year and a half, which would have been fine. But, you know, who's to say I would ever touch the field with my background not being a linebacker coming out of junior college and high school, thing like that. So it was pretty much like a tweener thing for me. But so to answer your question, I really didn't know too much about Tennessee. But if you ask me anything now, I probably can tell you just about anything.
That's awesome. I have one question, and you know, you can tell me to jump off a bridge if you want to after this. But so that 2014 class, you know, that was the class that everybody thought, like, this is the class to come in and compete for championships.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that with Jalen Hurd, Derek Barnett, Josh Malone, all those guys.
Definitely.
So what do you think was the ultimate reason why that didn't happen?
Oh, you want to ask me that, huh?
I'm just curious. Like I said, you can tell me to jump off the bridge.
I think it's a mixture of things. The one big thing being the team drama. Mm-hmm. As far as people leaving, you got Preston Williams, you know, cussing out the coaches, Justin Martin cussing out coaches. I can say that now because me and Justin are cool, but back then, you know, it was just I want to say, I can't find the word for it, but it was kind of I got the biggest nuts in the building type thing, but that's not what it should have been. I think it should have been more of us kind of bonding together and things of that nature, because we had guys wanting to smoke marijuana, wanting to do all that stuff. I mean, fine, you do that, but you also got to understand when the penalty is handed to you, you can't get upset. But I mean, there's a lot of things like the whole AJ thing, like in Dre Bowles. I mean, that was a big thing too. We lost our starting linebacker. Things that can distract us. What else could it be? I mean, us not take care of business in Florida our first year when Florida came to us, you know, us not doing that when we should have, you know. Who else did we play that we lost to that we shouldn't have? I mean, when we went to Alabama, I think we really think we could have won that game. Kicking field goals, things of that nature. I remember it's very vivid now that I think about it. It's just like what could have been. Like, for example, I'm not going to say any names in particular, but we had people laughing, and we're only down like 4 or 5 points, things of that nature. And then, like, okay, we had a certain person that kicked field goals for us, okay, that was laughing that he missed the field goal when he came off the field. That's unacceptable. That's very unacceptable. And so that being said, like, there's little things like that. So the next day after the game, I guess we were in the locker room, and I saying, man, what was up with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're laughing and you missed, you know, you just missed. Like, what was so funny? Is that hysterical are you hysterical at yourself? Like, what is it? And it's just things like that. So, for example, we got like, and then I think it's a lot of things that has to do with distractions. I think so. You got the girls, you got the fame, you got the crowd, you got the media, you got all this stuff. And it's really hard to be a football player, being dead honest with you.
It's a different world now. Like you mentioned Twitter. It's like it's so easy to talk to athletes now.
Most definitely. They're accessible. They're accessible. Right. And like things like this. So we'll have a home game. You know, granted, we're going to win against West Carolina. I mean, but they gave us a run for our money at a second, you know. So we got guys at halftime talking about, hey, man, you still throwing that party tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at these fools like, what? You know, me being who I wasn't really the going out type, like, to promote stuff. But, I mean, yeah, I'll go to the clubs. Yeah, I'll go to house parties. I'll do all that stuff. But I'm thinking about that when I see 0 seconds on the clock. And then even then, when we would lose, we still got people saying, hey, what you doing, man? So, I mean, it's a lot of things as far as, like, people get opportunities, and this is what they do with it. You know, like, you got guys like Derek Barnett that came in and took care of business and left, you know. You got guys like Preston Williams that don't fit in with the program because it doesn't go to your liking. Then you got guys like that. Then you got guys like me. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal or anything like that. I'm not saying that I've made that big of a difference, but I feel like every time that I was in there, something happened, or sack or QB spy because you can't run or whatever the case may be. And then for me just to pass up the opportunities that I had, so a lot of people don't know this. I had a lot of opportunities to get on the field, but I just couldn't learn it that fast as far as like a 4-3 defense with all the changes and new scout reports every week. Like my mind is boggling. I'm really just trying to get all this stuff down. I got classes. I got people who want to help me with my work. Like I'm overwhelmed at this point.
Yeah. So
that being said, whenever I really tried to put myself out there in my senior year, I think my senior year was better than my junior year, but I had more stats my junior year, if that makes sense. I was more knowledgeable my senior year than I was my junior year. And that being said, I really just I want to understand like why I wasn't. Now I ask this question all the time. Like for example, there was a whole ordeal with Coach Jones getting fired. I want to say Alex Jones, his son, was really cool with Josh. I can't understand what blank on his name. The receiver,
Smith.
Blonde. Yeah, like gold locks, Hercules, So anyway, I had said, yeah, if I would have played under the new defensive coordinator or whatever, I probably would have played a little bit more. I had made that comment on, Twitter or whatnot. And, a lot of people agreed. I'm not just saying that to be, say, I was an all-star, which I wasn't. But at the same time, like I was just good enough to be on the field more than I was. So, and then Josh had said something to me. I was like, you know what, man, that's why you didn't play that much. That's what, I'm saying, like things like that. You got guys that's butt hurt or whatever. You got guys in their feelings. You got grown men in their feelings about something that you said. that makes complete no sense. But me being the person I am, I'm very outspoken. Like I'll say what I'll say, but at the same time, I'm very cognizant of where I am and, who I'm talking to or what kind of media am I, speaking to or trying to get the message that I'm trying to put out. So it's just the small things like that of why I think that season went downhill. Luckily, we made a bowl game, which was the best thing that could ever happen for us. We had a lot of fun in Jacksonville. It was just different. The team vibe was different. Although, we really couldn't enjoy it like we did my senior year because we could actually go to the bar after we blew a team out, instead of being 18, 19-year-old and then like, you can't really do anything. But at the same time, you're living the best life you could. Basically you're playing football, you got a scholarship, you get fed well every day, you got money in your pocket, all this stuff. Like there's nothing really that you could ever even want at this point in your life. And I think a lot of guys took that for granted.
Yeah, I mean, I just asked that question because a lot of blame is just they put it all on Butch Jones. And does he deserve some credit? Absolutely.
Right,
but,
most definitely.
I just want to hear it from a former player, what.
Yeah, I tell a lot of guys, I tell a lot of people it's not just Coach Jones. Like Coach Jones can put it on the table for us. He can set it. He can even feed it to us. But what he can't do is digest it and go out, and take a shit on the field. That's what he can't do. So that's basically how I looked at it. It's just like, we had all the tools, all the coaches, what I'm saying? Like, of course, there are some play calls that you do call and, what I'm saying, this is what you want.
Right.
That's fine. But for the most part, we're out there performing. It's up to us to, to make sure it's the right call. So, I mean, guys falling asleep in meetings. I mean, there's just tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff. But I will tell you this, a funny story. So before I got there, I went on an official visit there, and I had with my coach. His name was Coach Pond at that time, and I went on my unofficial visit. So there's a pilot right there on Cumberland Avenue that I always went to when I was there. But obviously, we stopped there when we first got in, and there was a lady there with very little to no teeth, and she had a big chaw. And man, I said, man, I swear, I don't know if I'm gonna like it here. And that was funny. So I bring that up because Danny O'Brien, Colton Jumper, those people like that. I was falling asleep in meetings one day. This is when I first got there because I wasn't really. We had meetings after meetings after meetings. I've never had that. I had one meeting in the morning, go to class, practice. Next day, meeting in the morning, in junior college. So I got there and had so many meetings. So Danny O'Brien goes, pop, pop, pop. Hey, man, try this. So he gives me a pouch. You know what I'm saying? He gives me a pouch of Copenhagen wintergreen. So I slip it in, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what it does. Like, I've seen people try it before. I'm like, nah, I would never do that. So I put it in, man, and all of a sudden, man, I'm sweating. I'm about to throw up. I'm about to bark. He hands me, says, hey, man, here, spit in this. So he gave me his bottle to spit in. That's the most hick shit I've ever seen in my life. You know, give me a bottle to spit in. So after that, man, I kind of developed a bad habit, but it kind of helped me get through meetings and stuff with, you know, tobacco product and stuff. But that's just a funny story that, you know, I never thought that I would ever, you know, dip tobacco, and all of a sudden here I'm with a fat one coming into meetings. And, you know,
yeah, that's ECC right there.
You do what you got to do to stay alive.
Most definitely.
Do you have a most memorable game in Neyland Stadium that like stands out to you above the others?
Yeah, there's one game that I got benched for a little second, and I can tell you why I got benched. So during practice, I mean, I had a rough week, man. I had just done some stupid stuff, and I had lost a lot of things that were very valuable to me, and I wasn't up. Somebody came in my car and took my stuff. So that being said, I was having the worst week ever. It started from the day one. But then, I don't know if you guys remember, his name was Jalen Miller. He was there. He was actually my roommate when I first got there during the season, him and Ladero McNeil. But Jalen Miller kind of played the penny position, the cheetah position that I played. And Coach Jancic, he was complaining to Coach Jancic, hey, man, I'm better than Chris, you know, and this and that. God forbid, I didn't say that he wasn't, or I didn't say that he was, but I knew that I was, regardless. That's my boy, man. I love you. But anyway, he was basically saying, like, he was, you know, a little bit bigger than I was. I'm obviously faster, quicker, and I wouldn't say smarter, but I was. That being said, that week we're playing Kentucky at home, and I guess I was messing up, and Coach Jensen was mad at me, or whatever the case may have been. I do forget. But I know that I got benched that game, and it was me and TK. We were sitting on the side. No, not me and TK. Me and Cortez McDowell. So basically, what the thing was is Jalen had got in, and he wasn't getting no pressure. He wasn't getting any sacks. He was messing up on the spot. He was 270 pounds trying to spot a QB. I mean, come on, that's really not going to work that well for you. So I'm sitting there, you know, I'm pouting. I'm not really pouting, but I'm just like, man, I know what I can do. I know I'm out there. So the only opportunity I got to get on the field was kickoff return at that point. So I really was very passionate about special teams because that's where I got a lot of my plays, because I was the big guy that can run, and also quick and stuff too. So that's where I kind of put all my pride towards and all my hard work towards, is that and the 3-4 defense. Anyway, so I got on there, and, you know, the first tackle I made, I'm just, you know, kickoff. So, all right, I hope Coach Jones and Coach Tripp and Coach Jensen seeing this. Like, I'm out here busting my ass. I need that spot back. You know what I'm saying? And me and Cortez, I think it was me and TK. And me and TK was talking. He was like, hey, man, just keep your head up. TK, at that point, TK was just as young as I was, or even younger. So I got this freshman TK talking to me, and he's like, come on, with all inspirational words, you know, like, come on, man, just keep your head up, man. Like, just know that, you know, don't worry about it. I'm like, come on, man. This, you know, you're trying to preach to me, and I'm trying to get in the game, right? So that being said, I had like 3 or 4 tackles on special teams, and Coach Jensen was like, you know what? He is busting ass, and Jalen's not doing what he's supposed to. And at the time, Coach Knight was my coach, and Coach Knight was my advocate. He was like, hey, man, Chris needs to go in. We need to put Chris. They called me Weather. I never heard my first name ever when I was at Tennessee. All I heard was Weather. Nobody ever knew this is Weather. So anyway, he put Weather in the game, so he puts me in the game. And then after that, it was pretty much over with, because it was like pretty much third down. Everybody knew what was happening. Got the sack the first play I was in. I got the sack. So I came back to the side. I said, Coach Jan, I said, you see that, man? That's called production. And we just started laughing and stuff. But the thing was, what was most memorable about it was AJ came up to me, because he kind of knew I was feeling kind of down and stuff like that. He came up to me, celebrated me on the field, man. Like, you know, he said, you got AJ Johnson with you. And at the time, I didn't know how prominent AJ Johnson was at that point. Like, I didn't know how big it was in in like the SEC and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I got this ordinary guy coming up to me, fist bumping me. So after that, I got so many people saying, "Hey, what's up to me? Hey, what's up, Chris?" Because he kind of gave me a little bump right there. So that's probably one of the most favorite moments, not because of that, but just because of the man, I'm popular tonight, man.
That foam.
Yeah, it's AJ Johnson.
Yeah, so but yeah, it's just being able to perform, and then like I said, I don't know if you guys know, my mom made it to every home game and almost every away game.
That's
She
awesome.
she drove from Dallas all the way to Knoxville. Every home game we would take off work and fly home. She worked on Friday, she would fly out that night, and she would take over my dorm. But other than that, that's one of the reasons why I played because of my mom. She was my inspiration, still is today. I wish I was still playing today, but that's not the way to cook crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome to hear. And she was the one that kind of wanted you to go to Tennessee anyway. So moms always kind of win.
Right, always. That's right.
Awesome. Well, Chris, I think that's all we got. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you talking with us. There was a funny story. Chris called me the other day, and I told him just to text me his number. That way I had it. He just wanted to call me, and I've been getting a lot of robocalls from Texas, and here is another Texas one. So I answered it. I'm sure I sounded mad.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hello." I was just waiting for, "Hello, this is so and so with credit card services." But
right.
He's like, "Hey, this is Chris." I was like, "Chris? Who's Chris?"
Right.
And it was you, man. That was awesome. My wife was like, "You're kind of mean." I was like,
I know. I totally get it, man. That's for sure. I totally get it. But again, man, I appreciate you guys for having me, man. Like I said, this is something awesome. I've never really got the opportunity to talk on media and such and that. But I was on the Swain event. I will tell you that.
Oh, nice.
Swain event is. Me and Jason go way back when I was being recruited and stuff. He would reach out to me and kind of keep my head in the game, saying, "Hey, we need you, and don't worry about all the other outside stuff you got going." So
nice.
That's awesome.
And
you're on Paul Finebaum. That's
right,
there
man.
You go.
Chris from Knoxville.
Chris from Knoxville, man. It just got a ring to it, man.
That's awesome. Hey, man, if you find yourself in Knoxville for a game, text us and swing by a tailgate. We'd love to hang out with you, man.
Definitely. I was actually there this past season for homecoming. I was in a booth with Justin Hunter and I think TK's dad and mom and stuff, but I didn't really watch that much because you're only in Knoxville for 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna blow them out anyway. Well, at first it kind of scared me. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. You can never be too careful with Tennessee.
That's right, man. You got to take it with a grain of salt, man.
Yeah. All right, Chris. We appreciate it. Have a good one, brother.
You too, boss.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.